By the saints and sugar molasses, she's doing it wrong. That soot's being scattered more than gathered. And look at her, without a proper cap, bareheaded at the hearth.
Cammy, did you say something?
Oh, good heavens, she can hear me. That saves time. I was summoned by dust, by disgrace, and by your overall lack of domestic fortitude.
Oh, don't scare the poor dear, Temperance. Bless her heart. Hello, lamb. I'm Mistress Mercy Pottle. I ran the bakehouse 3 doors down until a butter churn mishap saw me off. Don't mind her. Her bark is worse
I know
than
you
her
heard
bite.
me. Little missy, don't pretend you didn't. I've lived here since 1780. I should like to know why you've turned my respectable hearth into a soot-ridden scandal. You, madam, are a modern embarrassment.
Something's going on in my house. I think I have ghosts. I still can't see them. Not clearly. I don't get shadow figures or cold spots or any of the other things people talk about, but I do hear them. It's not like voices in the head. It's quieter than that. It's like a memory that's still warm, or a sigh that belongs to someone else. And the longer I live here, the more I notice that the house reacts. It creaks louder when I ignore certain corners. The windows rattle when I rearrange too much. And the hearth? Well, you saw what happened when I vacuumed the hearth. They don't like it. Not because I'm cleaning, but because I'm disturbing something. I think.
You see, the soul of the home rests here at the hearth. And if the hearth is disrespected, the entire house falls into moral ruin.
And boy, do they have opinions.
If you insist on staying in this home, the very least you can do is wear proper clothing.
I don't know how long they've been here, but I'm starting to understand who they were, or at least who the house remembers them to be.
I remember them both. Before the sorrow, before the silence, before the air between the floorboards turned cold. They were girls once. Laughter tucked into their aprons like stolen biscuits, Mercy with flour on her nose, Temperance with a list in her hand and a jaw set like a prayer. They came through my door when the world was still stitched with candlelight and barn cats, when grief was something far off, like war or winter. I have held many lives within my walls. Some passed gently like wind through the shutters. Others cling, like fingerprints on glass, like dust that will not be swept. Temperance, Halloway, Mercy, Pottle. They clung. Mercy was the first to arrive. She smelled of lavender and yeast. She would hum as she worked, not always on key, but always from the heart. She had hands like bread dough and eyes that forgave too easily. Mercy moved through this house as if it had been waiting for her. She believed in goodness. She believed in the return of things, letters, lovers, lost buttons. She believed everything would find its way back, eventually. Temperance came later, not as a guest, but as mistress. She brought structure, purpose, precision. She measured tea leaves by the pinch and expected obedience from everything, including the wind. Where Mercy was a pot of jam left to boil over, Temperance was a sealed jar, tight, preserved, untouchable. They were not sisters by blood, but something stronger, a chosen closeness. They knew each other's thoughts before they were spoken. They fought like lightning and rain, loud, sudden, and gone in a blink. And then they would sit side by side at the hearth, sewing, shoulders just barely touching. They were each other's witness. Obadiah Halloway was a quiet man. He loved Temperance the way a rock loves the sea, unyielding even when slowly worn down by it. He admired her order, her rules, her fierce, unfailing loyalty. He respected Mercy too, though he never said as much. I saw it, the way his eyes softened when she brought in the bread, the way he paused before answering her, as if the question had weight. But this is not his story. He lived in the center of it, and yet somehow always at the edges. The day it all began to break was hotter than it should have been. Late summer, no breeze. The children were restless. The butter was not coming together. Mercy was tired. She'd been helping Temperance after her 4th birth. The baby cried endlessly, and the heat hung over everything like a held breath. Mercy offered to churn the butter, though she had done it 3 times already that week. She wanted to help. She always did. She left the churn too near the hearth. She was distracted, folding linens, singing to soothe herself. Temperance, exhausted and anxious, scolded her. It was too harsh, too loud, too final. Mercy said nothing. She turned back to the butter, her face red from more than just the fire. Then came the snap, the flare, the scream, the room filled with smoke and panic. The baby cried louder. Obadiah ran in with a bucket, but by then it was done. Mercy lingered for 2 days. Her burns were not merciful. She died in the upstairs room, where the shadows fall long in the afternoon. Her last words were, "Tell her it's all right." But no one did. Temperance never forgave herself. Of course, she never said that, not aloud. But I know. I know what it sounds like when a woman weeps into clean linens, when she scrubs the same floorboard 17 times in a day, when she closes a door and leaves it shut for 20 years. She buried Mercy with a fresh apron. She kept her room just as it had been. The house grew quieter, colder. The children left one by one. Obadiah stopped reading aloud at night. Temperance aged like iron, slow and stubborn. And then came the attic. She had gone up to rearrange the trunks, the old ones, the ones that still smelled faintly of lavender and lye soap. She was always trying to control the past, to neaten it, fold it into something bearable. She found a letter there, not to her, to Obadiah. I don't know what it said, but I felt the weight of it, how it made the air in the attic ripple, how Temperance sat down slowly, as if her bones had turned to flour, and then she stood, and then she fell. She joined Mercy not long after. Not in peace, not at first. For years they didn't speak. Temperance paced the halls, correcting what didn't need correcting. Mercy stayed quiet, flitting between curtains and corners like a shadow that didn't want to bother anyone. But over time, even ghosts soften. Now they bicker like they used to. About modern appliances, about your choice of wallpaper, about how you fold your dish towels. But the edge is gone. Mostly. Mercy still hums, Temperance still tidies, but sometimes in the stillest moments I hear them laughing. I am only wood and stone, but I remember. I remember how they danced in the kitchen once, when no one was looking. I remember the scent of bread rising and soap drying on the line. I remember how love made them both unbearable and unforgettable. So, if you feel a chill in the hallway, don't be afraid. If the butter won't churn, if the curtains billow for no reason, if your grandmother's pie recipe won't work the way it used to, it's them. Still living, still watching, still here. Because some houses don't forget, and neither do the women who kept them.
Well, that's one way to tell it.
I liked it. The house remembered the part I thought was lost.
The house is a gossip, always was. Didn't mention how many nights I spent churning alone while she sang to the moon.
Did you come back from the dead just to be petty?
If you're going to be seen, you may as well be seen doing something right.
She means the fire. You've stacked the logs all wrong. It's suffocating itself.
So now you're fire inspectors?
You've disturbed the hearth. And if you're going to meddle with it, you need to learn how to tend it.
She's right. We can't go on like this, half in, half out. If the door's open, well, we might as well teach you how to sweep it properly.
Perfect. Haunted by unsolicited advice.
You need structure, a routine, discipline. You float about like dandelion fluff.
She's been dead for 200 years and still wants a chore wheel.
We could start with tea. Or starching a bonnet.
No one starts with bonnets. First, broth, then starch, then vinegar. That's the proper order.
Well, thank goodness I have 2 ghosts and a syllabus.
I do like her. She's got spark. That'll be a problem, but it's endearing.
If we must instruct, we'll begin with what she's doing wrong, which clearly is everything.
They were never seen, but they never stopped watching. And now they've decided to teach me. God help us all.